Good evening and welcome to Toxic Masculinity. Episode 16, where we're going to discuss many of the fascinating and interesting subjects of the day. First of all, I would like to say that I am feeling much better. I was sick for a little while, feeling much better. So I'm going to have a bunch of videos being posted on the show, on the channel, my regular videos. And let me just tell you, these are going to be excellent. So watch out for these. Completely neglect toxic masculinity if you have to check these other videos out because they're fantastic. And let me just say, my last video, Defund NPR, is probably my worst performing video of all time. And I don't understand why.
That's crazy. It was awesome. I loved it.
It was an awesome video, right? So I don't know, share it with your friends. I don't know. I think the problem is I posted it twice, right? So I posted it Friday, and after a few hours, somebody realized that the end of the video was cut off. Like there was a problem with the upload, which I didn't, I check, double check, triple check all my videos before they go out. For whatever reason, the upload messed up or something, and the last part of the video got cut off. I don't know what happened. I've never had this problem before. So I was like, all right, I got to delete this and upload it again because the last part of the video is most of my commentary. Like everything else is just like showcasing examples of NPR being horrible and stuff like that. And so I had to delete it and re-upload it. So I think that the numbers aren't accurate. I think the number shows like the viewers who didn't see it the first time and then came in later. But like I think I probably got I didn't even pay attention to how many numbers I had. I just deleted it and re-uploaded it. So I don't know.
You know what? People needed to watch. People needed to listen to that. Like I know people are saying like it was too much of them, but people needed to hear that. When I was listening to that, I had so many like I need to talk to Chris about this. This is like because I don't listen to NPR. So
see that gets to like my theory on this. Just like you make a video about NPR, I'm like, okay, who listens to NPR? We're talking about like the elderly and like the people that can't have trouble sleeping. You know, who is listening to this stuff? That's why it has public funding. So you do a video with NPR in the title, and people are just like, "Oh man, I'm bored already," and they,
and it got demonetized as well, which I don't.
Well, that's no surprise.
I honestly don't. I don't understand why it was demonetized. The only thing I can think of, because they didn't write anywhere why. Like sometimes they'll give me a little explanation or like the category as to why it was demonetized, but this one I didn't get, and I think the reason is because, and I'm not joking, I think it's because in the NPR thing, in the segments, there was one guy who like listed off all of the slurs against white people. And basically he said like there are more slurs against white people than like any other race, and he was trying to essentially make a joke about it and about how like it's kind of like acceptable to make fun of white people or rednecks, essentially rednecks. And he was kind of justifying it, like it's okay to make fun of rednecks and that's cool and we're all cool with it. And I'm like, well, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if we should be cool with it.
Like white people take that as a badge of honor or something.
It was weird, yeah. So that was one of the segments that I put in. I should have deleted that one.
So they got flagged for like hate speech or something? Is that the theory?
Maybe, yeah. Because even though YouTube is primarily hateful of conservatives, I think they probably do have some sort of. They try to create the pretense, the pretense of having some principles and integrity, and so they will try to, I think, to some degree, be fair or balanced, or at least the appearance of that. So they probably will delete white redneck slurs and stuff.
Well, we can speculate as to the motivations of liberals endlessly, and it'll just be like, you can't figure out the logic behind like radicals and crazies. I've actually seen a lot of this. I think Jason and I were talking about this at some point where they had like Shadiversity and some other channels put out videos about how YouTube is promoting smaller creators because they keep all the money. If they show videos that are creators that aren't partnered or whatever, they can just sort of like, okay, they get the viewership, they put ads on those videos. So so because they want to be more of a moneymaker for themselves, they're promoting videos by smaller creators, which they can put ads on and then keep the money off of. And then they're also sort of like, if they demonetize something, whatever views, whatever funds that generates, it's not like those funds don't exist. They take it the same way that they do it with like these crowdfunders. They're just like, oh, we decide you guys are bigots. We're just going to take this money. It's theft essentially. So that's got to be at least part of the motivation if they're trying to sort of like siphon funds off of creators, which may be why so many creators are quitting them in the recent months.
Yeah, maybe. All right, well, let's start unless Jason has anything he wants to talk
noticed something.
Okay.
Kurt needs he's like the odd man out here. What's going on? Something weird here. Chris is like in some nice lighting. I'm in some nice lighting.
Oh, he wants me to call
Kurt,
out the
step
fact.
up your game.
He wants me to call out this might be a little too late. Right, this one. Let's see. I got these little tiny lights that I use.
I thought you were gonna make a.
I've had those lights.
I thought you were gonna make some kind of statement about me not having like a big phallic thing in front of my face through the entirety.
Well,
no, the microphone.
Your head in front of that big window kind of looks like that.
That's such a lefty thing to say, phallic. Well, the thing is, Jason inspired me to up my lighting game.
Am I too close?
Because his lighting's always so good. And I always tried to fix up my lighting reasonably well, but like I do kind of give up at some point. If I can't find good lighting, I just kind of go, fine, that's good enough. But Jason has encouraged me with his beautiful lighting to
maybe my brightness is down.
It's all personal.
What's going on here?
It's all personal preference.
Kurt's losing his mind. Kurt's losing his mind.
Kurt, you were fine. Right, well, I was only joking.
Listen, hold on. Half Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company jumped in with $2 and he says, well, hello, motherfuckers. Hopefully that doesn't get us demonetized. And he also says, WTF is NPR. You know what NPR is. You know what NPR is. And if you don't know, watch my excellent video on Mr. Reagan.
I got one. Guys in the comment section, you should write a good NPR, like what you think it really stands for. I want to see what they come up with.
And also, by the way, you can clip our show like in the YouTube. Oh, hello, Kurt. Wow, that's a lovely lamp you've got there. Whoa, hey. You can actually clip these live streams
is way down.
And then I'll promote them on my. We're good, Kurt. You don't need to see us. We're all good.
NPR, National Pervert Radio.
or National Propaganda Radio, I think is really what it is.
I'm not friends with you guys for your personalities. If I can't see you, then there's no point in this relationship.
No Purpose Radio. Good one, Brian.
No Purpose Radio. Hold on, I'm gonna try to open my Gmail real quick, which isn't necessarily something that a podcast would normally do, but I'm going to open an email that I got. And the reason I'm going to open this is because this is where was it from? It might be in my other account. Let me try.
Exactly, Chris. Not only you gave up on lighting, you went black and white in your regular shows. Ben brings a good point.
Oh, I think I forgot to make my last video black and white. Did I or didn't I?
No, it was black and white.
It was okay. Yeah. No. Well, the thing is, I started to do the black and white because I've been traveling for a while, and I found that it's sometimes difficult to get the lighting good enough that like the colors are good. Yeah. The colors work, and it's a little bit easier. It's actually a little bit easier to just make it black and white. So I did that once because I really couldn't get the colors right, and then I thought, oh, I kind of like this. It's like an interesting new signature look. So I kept it, and some people like it, some people don't like it, but I don't know. You guys can write in the comment section if you like it or not, and then that'll get back to me via Jason.
Well, black and white is so antiquated. It's kind of like indie movie style stuff now, so it's a little artsy. But I mean, you're an artist, so it depends on the nature of the video, I would say. Since we seem to be in no rush to get to current events or anything political, you mentioned traveling, which made me think of Traveler, which made me think of Gypsies, which made me think of Tyson Fury and the boxing match. Either you gentlemen see this boxing match? It's toxic masculinity. We may as well talk about what's probably the biggest boxing match in decades.
I know that the teaser for this episode, the title of the episode, we're talking about Joe Biden's crazy, racist, nasty, vicious, divisive speech, and we will get to that. But first, of course, we got to talk about the Tyson Fury match.
Of course,
go Kurt.
Yeah. I'm looking down at the long title of the Biden's very bad, no good speech, and initially I missed the S in Biden, and I thought it was Biden nasty, which I think should be
Biden nasty.
Just get rid of the rest.
It's written by that. It's written by that. Yeah, our titles are now written by that black congresswoman that told Marjorie Taylor Greene she's got a butch body.
You went exactly where I was going with that. That's awesome. But did you guys see the fight? Did you watch the fight?
I didn't. No, I don't really watch.
I didn't even know the fight. I didn't even know.
I was probably busy doing Muay Thai because I'm awesome.
Okay, so apparently the title of this podcast, Toxic Masculinity, is just a front because I'm the only real man in this group. So we'll move on. There's no point in talking about it since neither of you guys bothered to this historic event.
You think, Kurt, watching two men go at it with just a pair of shorts, you think that's very manly?
That description sounds like would appeal more to you than me. But I mean, one of them is a representative of Ukraine. It's kind of political, right? I mean, you guys consider yourself...
I read about that actually, Kurt. I read about that. That Tyson Fury said that he only lost because the judges were in favor of him because he's Ukrainian, and he brings a good point. I didn't watch the fight, but that makes sense.
There you go,
see that happening.
Boxing
has gotten really political lately.
Jason didn't watch the fight, but he read an article about Ukraine, so he's still a man. Everybody, give him a round of applause. All right, Chris. I've tortured you long enough. Please take your show back.
Thank you.
The news through the perspective of three toxic males. Let's get on with it.
Let's get it on.
I was going to say, yeah.
Listen. The first
over here.
I'm going to show you guys an email that I got from the Joe Biden campaign. Now, I don't know how. I have an old email from when I was a kid, which is an AOL account, which is pretty funny. But Chris loves
ninjaturtles.aol.com.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, and the thing is, somehow the Joe Biden campaign got my email address. They think my name is Charles for some reason, which is pretty funny. But let me show you this email because this is one of the funniest campaign emails I've ever seen. Like they're asking for donations, obviously. But it's on my old AOL account, which is hilarious. I think it's hilarious. And he's written, last week, President Biden challenged Donald Trump to 2 debates in front of the American people. And Charles, that's me. You'll never believe what happened next. Trump spiraled naturally. Since President Biden's announcement, Trump has posted on social media and sent emails freaking out over having to go toe-to-toe with the president. This is the same guy who, after agreeing to debate last time around, asked President Biden to be drug tested. And then they've got this little meme. Come on, man. During the debate. Yeah, they're adding memes now to their these guys, honestly, they're actually pretty effective. Like a lot of their emails do make me want to click because they're kind of provocative sounding.
When you mentioned you wanted to open with this, I was jokingly going to put in my response, did they say "come on, man" at any point in the message? But I was like, I'll say it for the show. But it's there. It's like
it's actually there.
I kind of love
that. A previous campaign pitch, they actually had "come on, man" as the subject heading. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they like the "come on, man" thing. During the debate, Trump famously repeatedly interrupt President Biden and his asinine lies and crazy conspiracy theories. I don't think they structured that sentence very well. It sounds like he interrupted President. Oh, with his, my mistake. Okay. He even demanded President Biden's ears be searched for an electronic earpiece. Seriously? That's not really how they put it. There's no question mark, but I think it's funny.
But it is italicized, so that's something.
Yeah. Seriously. And then they've got Joe Biden. This has got to be written by a 14-year-old girl, right? It's got to be. And then they've got a Joe Biden meme where he says, "Well, you shut up, man," because he's so cool and badass. He's not just Biden. He's Dark Brandon, which, by the way,
that's the most annoying thing. That Dark Brandon.
The Dark Brandon thing stems from "Let's Go Brandon," which is code for F Joe Biden. So it's weird that they would take the Brandon thing. I mean,
like, I don't get who actually thought that that was gonna work for them.
It's the worst strategy ever.
They're owning it.
By the way, everyone. I know Chris personally. We've known each other for many years. His real name is Charles, and he's actually a Democrat.
Lies. Okay. Shush. All right. Let's see here. And then
he's Gavin Newsom's cousin, actually.
That's not funny. People will believe that. The president will debate his opponent, plain and simple. And if history is any indication, we have a pretty good idea of how that's going to go. Yes, we definitely do. But until then, we're counting on grassroots supporters like you to continue to build our campaign momentum. Now give us money. Anyway, I thought that was pretty funny.
It is.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Stuff. Yeah.
Well, we know one thing for sure. This would be a hell of a lot more effective if instead of an email, it was you actually delivering this, because you killed it.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. Yeah, that would have been better. A video message from Mr. Reagan by the Biden campaign. Yeah. If Sebastian the Biden campaign wants to pay me, I will do your emails. I mean, they're going to be sarcastic, but they'll at least be funny.
Yeah. Maybe the teenage girl that is sort of like watching your channel and looking for any reason to demonetize it or sort of like, step on your neck, is friends with the one that wrote the Biden thing that went out to you, and they're going to talk to each other and be like, hey, you know what? He's kind of hot. Maybe we should try to get him hired.
I know. I'll be the face of the Biden campaign. Step aside, Karine Jean-Pierre. There's a new communications director in town.
The teenage girls controlling Biden's social media would be like, we know he's a Republican, but we can fix him. We can fix him, ladies.
We can fix him. We can fix him trend. Okay,
I say go for it. I would
do it.
I think more Republicans need to go into the Democrat Party, claim they're Democrats, and just what do they call it? Dino.
I'll be a double agent. Okay. Hoff Power Concrete and Simplified Crofters Company says, keep the black and white and piss on the haters. I like it. I'll keep the black and white for sure. We'll see how that goes. All right, Jason, do you want to start reading off stories for us? Do you have the list?
I wish we could, if there's a way, to put what do you call that when you have people to pick A, B, and C? What do you call that? Something like that.
Oh, a survey?
Multiple choice?
Yeah, I wish there was a way we could do that in the chats. I don't know if that exists. If anybody knows, let us know.
We can do that. We
should do a survey on Chris, black and white or color.
All right, hold on.
I think you're looking for a poll, right?
A poll. That's it. A poll. Yeah.
Early on in the show, I was trying to get Chris to start doing polls during the show. Like when we would be debating something, be like, do a poll. And he just kept waving me off, so I gave up. But now it's two against one. You hold him, I'll hit him.
Well, hold on. I'm not sure how to do it. I think there is a way to do it, but I don't know how. So, but until then, until we're able to do those. Yeah, let's read the news. Do you have the list?
Yes. So Biden delivers bleak commencement address. Black men being killed in the streets.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this is our sort of headline story here.
Yeah. If you go down and if you read, where is it? Okay. So it's funny because he has a quote here. We can go on about the other stuff after this, but I was just reading and this one hit me like, what are these people like? What are they talking about? So he says, what is democracy with a trail of broken promises leaving black communities behind? Who's in charge of all the black communities? Who's leaving these people behind?
This is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. And somebody pointed out
negative. It was a complete negative commencement speech, like nothing positive. I'm sorry, Chris.
Somebody pointed out actually that that it was ironic that Joe Biden is presenting a speech about how these people are oppressed on their graduation day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like these people are graduating from college. They're doing better than like.
What is democracy?
They're probably doing better than 90% of regular Americans. You know, a lot of the people that he's addressing, and they've got their huge opportunities, right? Because America has decided that, you know, we're all racist, and therefore we need to make up for it by giving these people extra advantages. So these people have probably more opportunities than any of us ever had when we graduated.
And we should mention that it's a black college. They have admitted white students since the mid 1800s. So, but it is primarily like a black college, and that's
yeah. I thought that was.
These
already,
Democrats are messing everything up, man. You know,
I assumed it, but I had to research it, so I just want to make sure.
They're becoming more and more aware of this, Chris, and it's not good because I had plans for my son.
Well, you know what? Yeah.
We were going to take advantage of that.
You're going to exploit the system. Well, listen. I think that I've heard people talk about this speech, and I think that people make a great point, which is that black people are starting to see this for what it is, as like this pandering BS. But let's go ahead and play this real quick so you guys can hear some. This is only 40 seconds.
Do we have to?
This is yes. This is insane.
It's natural to wonder if democracy you hear about actually works for you. What is democracy? If black men are being killed in the street, what is democracy?
My God.
Trail of broken promises still leave black communities behind. What is democracy? You have to be 10 times better than anyone else to get a fair shot. Most of all, what does it mean? As we've heard before, to be a black man who loves his country, even if it doesn't love him back in equal measure.
Oh my God.
What an absolute scumbag.
Yeah. I know you're
garbage.
I know you hate this, Chris, but
yeah,
I'm sorry. We are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. I know you hate that, Chris, but I hate hearing when people say democracy.
It's such a
because democracy is led by the masses.
Yeah. Well, it's a representative democracy. It's not a direct democracy. I think we've established that on the show. I think you're well aware of that. I don't know why you keep pointing this stupid crap out.
It pisses me off.
Anyway, well, at least he looks happy, so that's nice. You know, he doesn't look like a curmudgeonly old sour-pussed, you know.
Well, I mean, he's kind of painted
creep.
into a corner, and I think we're probably judging him too harshly. You know, he might actually not know what democracy is. He doesn't know much of anything, honestly. So he's just waiting for some of the audience to explain it to him, and he's not getting any answers. He just keeps going.
What is democracy?
Where am I? What's my name?
Yeah. I haven't smelled anyone's hair in a week. Where are my servants?
You know what's funny? I also read that there were some black students that turned their backs on him. So I was trying to dig
but I think I was trying to dig the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I was trying to dig deeper into it, and I think they were turning their back because of the Israel-Palestinian thing. And I'm like, wait a minute. You shouldn't be turning your back on that. I mean, have you looked at your cities? Have you looked at the crime and the murders and stuff? I mean, you should be turning your back on this guy because he's screwing all of the black people.
Jason, that's why we have you on the show. Because every once in a while, most of the things you say are stupid, but occasionally, you come out with a joke.
Hey, come on.
By the way,
come on, man.
Come on, man.
Is
that, am I hitting too close to home there? No, you guys.
No. I'm absolutely completely stupid. I agree.
When we decided to make this show, a little bit of what we wanted to do was kind of like take the piss, as they say in England, or take the mickey, as they say in Ireland. You know, just like make jokes at each other's expense a little bit, have a little fun, play around. And we don't really do that as much as we should, unless it's directed at me. So I feel like I got to push back a little bit. I don't know why you guys took that. Kurt's like, oh, don't say that. You know, that makes it worse when you do that, actually. If you had laughed and clapped. No, for him. Because it makes it sound like what I'm saying is true, and I'm calling him out for real. Obviously, the stuff he says is not stupid. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next story because I'm sick of looking at Biden's nasty little face.
Okay.
Well,
I'm just going to go with stories.
Sorry, Jason. Kurt has a thing.
Jason makes a good point. I mean, like, I see loves to like, always bring up he has a black kid. Okay. But
yeah, enough milk in that, Jace.
Isn't there some kind of currency with the audience?
Doesn't it give me points though? Wait a minute. No.
Yeah. Well, Chris and I don't have wives or children, so you got to. We're well and truly beaten in that regard.
Kurt,
yes.
The Democrats do it all the time. The leftists do it all the time. So I'm using their tactics.
Why can't we?
That doesn't make it right, but like you were saying, like he looks
totally right.
Biden looks miserable. This is supposed to be like a great moment for these guys. It's an achievement for them, and he's just like, everybody hates you. It's sort of like the Democrat message to young black men in a nutshell. It's just like, this country's terrible. You can't win. Just like they just went to a college and got a degree. Just like this country is benefiting them, and you're gonna go like, but the whole commencement speech was, but is it really though? Is it really though? It's offensive. It's like it's disgusting, like you said, Chris. And I think that I, for one, want to live in a country where one day Jason's son will grow up to control an old white man as president. That's the kind of country I want to live in.
The Barack Obama system, but with a conservative.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. Love it. I love it. All right. Let's move on to the next story, Jace. I know that was the big headline story, but
yeah,
we can't dwell on that. That's just too horrible.
No.
Well, one last thing. In the comments, do you think this is going to help Biden with the black community or not? Let me know.
Well, yeah, I brought that up earlier. I think they're starting to wake up, right? The person may be coming a little bit late or something, but no, I think this is waking black people up. I think they're watching this, seeing it for the pandering demagoguery that it is, and I think they're going.
One would hope.
I think they're saying, "Come on, man!" At this point.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's see in the comments.
That's exactly how they say it too. Just like
moving on.
A black person from the 1980s.
I imagine Chris Tucker saying it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Chase. What do we got?
Okay. Hold on. Your fanboy Kurt is jumping in here. He says Kurt hasn't spoken in 15 seconds. This podcast is really going down in quality. Okay. So you want another minute of talking, Kurt? Go ahead. Let's make Franklin happy.
Okay.
I know it sounded sarcastic, actually.
Yeah. It's a cartoon, and the screen name is Franklin. My last name is Franklin, so I don't know. This might be like
he's been your fanboy since the beginning. He's like your biggest supporter.
Twin. Kurt hasn't spoken in 15 seconds. This podcast is really going down in quality. Jason, just because I have a fan doesn't mean you can be petty, all right? Relax.
I love how Kurt has one fan.
Yes, everybody's here for Chris. I have one fan. Okay, in the chat, Jason's fans, you got to speak up. You got to pull your weight.
Wait, Kurt,
there's got to be at least two of you.
Kurt, do you have a brother?
I do have a brother.
That's not your brother?
I don't think this is my brother because I don't recognize the little cartoon avatar. He would pick something anime if it was him. He would pick some kind of weird like 50s like.
Unless that's what he wanted you to think. All right, let's come on. Let's get back on track. Let's move on to the next story. Somebody's got to re-rail this train.
EU rushes to send condolences to Iran after Butcher of Tehran President Raisi killed. Right. Chris, what is that name?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Raisi.
Why? Don't embarrass me on my own show.
Well, I'm the one always sounding stupid with the name, so I might as well pass it on to one of you guys.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
Razi. I think it's Razi.
His legacy continues on because he butchered people.
Let's say Razi.
So it's great. Razi?
Okay, Razi. He was killed in a helicopter crash, and you got all these lefties going crazy now and wishing condolences and to these people that are like butchers and stuff and like our enemy. Like they want the West to go to hell and be destroyed, and so I don't get it.
Right. Well,
I asked one question though.
Yeah.
Was this a crash? Or did Israel?
Yeah, everybody. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Okay, so everybody online is speculating who caused this crash. Was it Israel? Was it America? Whatever. So
America, no. America loves Iran right now. Biden loves Iran.
Everybody's scrambling to go. We didn't do it. And somebody posts some like Muslim, activist person wrote on Twitter like, "Oh, you guys are all, scrambling to say you didn't do it because you're scared of Iran's retaliation." Yes, but it's not because we respect, Iran's great army or their amazing government or their, brilliant people. Although I have met people from Iran that were quite brilliant, I have to say. But it's because they're kind of crazy. The government of Iran is kind of crazy. Like, they'll send suicide bombers. They'll do some nasty stuff, So yeah, we don't really want to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like, if you're so nasty that the world doesn't want to deal with you, I don't know if that's a point of pride. You know what I mean? Like, there's you scared of us because we're so powerful. Nah, because you're crazy. That's why we're scared. It's like a homeless person in West Hollywood. You just like give them a wide berth. It's not because of respect. It's because you don't want to catch whatever disease they've got.
Have you seen the before and after pictures? Like the before pictures of I think it was in the 70s, early 70s or something.
Of the helicopter?
No, I'm saying of Iran. So you saw the before and after pictures of Iran.
Twitter, those things went viral a little while ago.
Yeah, it's like the United States in the Middle East, which is weird. And then
before it became a theocracy, it was actually an amazing country. Yeah. Or at least it looked like an amazing country. Yeah, no, it's a very good point. But I want to jump in here real quick with another story, which is related. Now, this is, of course, from the Babylon Bee, but I believe it's accurate news reporting. Occasionally, they do an accurate story. They've written, Iran president asks manager of quote-unquote paradise where all the virgins are and if it would be possible to turn the heat down a tad. I thought that was quite a funny story. Really an astute, sometimes Babylon Bee, they're just so... They're just such great investigative reporters. They break stories that really no one else has got. So, I just want to point that one out there.
That correspondent needs a raise. That's what I think.
I know, right? I mean, he's going to some, pretty difficult places to get these to get this news.
So,
do you guys have any?
I need to pause, everybody. Kurt, Franklin wants to hear your point. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kurt, come on. Yeah. We all need to hear the mighty Kurt's genius.
I like that. Let's make that stick. Well, as someone that lives in Hawaii, I'll know better than some others that helicopters are dangerous. Something small can go wrong, and those suckers will go down. A lot of times they'll have professionals. Typically have.
Are you talking about helicopters? No, just
helicopters. Yeah, they have tons of experience, tons of training, and in this case, it was probably somebody that should have been driving a New York cab. So I mean,
Yeah, well, what's interesting?
I don't think there was any foul play involved. I think it was just bad weather and
The New York cab comment, for those who are unaware, was a racist joke about Iranians in New York City.
How dare you? How dare you make such an assumption and besmirch my
here's the difficult thing about this particular story is that it may well have just been an accident. It's like the Kobe Bryant situation, right? Because it was a mountainous area. It was foggy. It was exactly the same circumstances as the Kobe crash. When the Kobe crash happened, nobody was like, Israel did it. We know it was Israel, because there was
who wants to kill a basketball player? Oh, well maybe
that's
the
my
other
point.
teams, but
that's my point. That's my point. The problem is Iran has created so many enemies. Yeah. And even within their own government, it's possible that somebody could have wanted this guy dead.
I was just
also we know that our various governments of the world, we know our various governments of the world have a tendency to lie to us, which we're going to get to a little bit later when we talk about the Congo. We've got a story about that coming up. And so naturally people are going to be suspicious. I mean, we're in a time now where really nobody trusts our government. Nobody trusts the CIA. Nobody trusts the FBI. Nobody trusts Israel. Nobody trusts Iran. Nobody trusts any of the governments of the world.
Anyway.
It's funny, actually. I'm out here in Asia, and I meet people, and they ask me what I do, and I talk a little bit about, American corruption, and they, I just get these blank stares. Like, these people have never heard of a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about. It's incredible how they've been able to stifle news about American corruption around the world. And I don't know if it's the worst thing. I mean, it's definitely, I prefer obviously transparency, but like all the people of the world, I do think need to believe that America, is the example of what a representative democracy, a constitutional republic with values, that has principles and is in fact not corrupt, what that looks like, what that is. We need to set that positive example. And right now we are not setting that example, but maybe we can get back to it. Maybe we can't. I don't know.
What
need
who
America
set that example? 4 years of Trump. Everybody in the world saw it.
Exactly. But the thing is that the media did their best to demonize Trump. So people,
they call him a tyrant and things. Sure.
Yeah. So when you say that they saw it, they may have seen the effects of Trump's presidency. They may have seen those positive effects, but they probably wouldn't have associated with Trump.
You know what? Probably would have. Yeah, you're right. But maybe I'm thinking like now they realize it. They saw.
I hope so. I doubt it, but I hope so.
I mean, you can't deny. Man. I don't think anybody in the world can deny there was peace when Trump was president and America was doing great. Nobody can deny that now. Like it.
But let me tell you, there's two problems with Trump internationally. Because I've talked to conservatives, like straight up conservatives all over the world.
That's right.
I'm traveling the world, man. I'm meeting people all over the world.
Yep.
And they don't like Trump. They don't like Trump. And there's two problems with it. One, the primary problem is the way they depict Trump in the media. Of course, they lie about him. They call him a racist, all these nasty things. But also, like the way Trump speaks in his debates, if you cherry pick certain things because of the way Trump's style, if you take some of the Trump stuff out of context, he does sound uncouth. He does sound unsophisticated. He does sound like a bit of a bully sometimes. So if you take some of those things,
you mean like a regular person?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you're from New York, Jason. I made this realization a long time ago when Trump was first running, which is that New Yorkers do have this tendency, like, hey, look, I'm not going to blow smoke. I'm not going to blow smoke. I'm going to tell you how it is. Yep. And they got this idea that's like, even if what they're saying doesn't need to be said in a way that's like nasty, they'll make it a little bit nasty just to make it sound more honest. Because it's not really honest. It's not really honesty unless it's brutal honesty. If you're
good observation, you're correct.
Yeah. So
it makes me think of that one scene in Sopranos where the main guy is telling one of his guys, like, he's explaining to him, and Gandolfini is just like, I don't give an F, and the guy sort of gets deflated. He's just like, all right, I do give it that. He like walks it back because his instinct is to be like, hey, like I'm the guy, I do the stuff. But in reality, he's his friend. He's like his brother. So it's like, exactly. I didn't mean that. But like the New York came first. The gangster came first. So it's just like,
but that's not just a gangster thing. I think that's just like a New York thing. Like no. If I'm too nice to this person, they're gonna think I'm lying to them. So I have to be a little bit of a dick.
And America is so vast, and their cultures vary so greatly. And it's just sort of like, it's almost like in Europe, we're having like, Brexit, and we're having all these like the EU and all this kind of stuff. It's just like that's why you kind of have to like limit the power of federal government, because if you don't want Trump having too much power, good. The federal government shouldn't have too much power. We should have more power in the states because we have so much population, so much land mass.
The problem, of course, is that they say we don't want Trump to have that much power, so they say elect Biden instead. He won't be a dictator, and then look what happens.
You have to put
that's the thing.
You have to put the super chat, Chris. That's a great observation right there. I think most wives are New Yorkers.
I'll do the super chat in a second. I just want to say you were kind of getting to a good point, Kurt, and then you got a little sidetracked. There are many different cultures, even in New York, but throughout the United States, and then of course throughout the world. And I think New York having that very specific quality of being a little bit dickish in order to seem authentic or genuine or sincere. I think that's lost on obviously everybody that's on the left. A lot of like down to earth, what I would call pragmatic Americans, people who, like are farmers or construction workers or whatever. They get it. They get what Trump's doing when he says some kind of nasty stuff. But so many people in the world don't get it. And so they just think Trump's an a-hole. You know what I mean? And
Well,
so
I mean,
that's how he gets distorted a little bit.
Trump is like the American. You know what I mean? Like when
Exactly.
Theodore Roosevelt was president, that's like the American. You know,
That's true. That's true.
And the rest of the world is not going to understand that because America is unique.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
But,
exactly.
I love having people in power in the United States that are like that because it actually shows the rest of the world this is what America's about. You know, we don't screw around. You know.
Damn, Jason, you're on fire today. Enough of the normal.
I think that Trump is the anti-politician, not just for America, but for the rest of the world too. I mean, I think the politicians internationally are sort of like wishy-washy.
Yeah, but okay, but you're kind of getting back to this illusion that people understand Trump, and I don't think they do. And I think primarily that's really the fault of the media, because the media could illuminate for the rest of the world what Trump is and what he's saying and how he's saying it and why he's saying it the way he's saying it. But instead, they choose to, present BS. Essentially, they tend to lean into this idea of the misperception of what Trump's saying. All right, I'll throw the super chat up here.
And wait, and you know what? I don't care about what the rest of the world. I don't care about what the rest of the world thinks of the United States. I care about what we think here in the United States, and we need Trump.
Good point.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Hoff Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company, $2. He says, "My wife must secretly be from New York."
Good. That is so good.
All wives are secretly from New York.
Honey, you feeling romantic tonight? Forget about it.
I'll go enough and headache. Didn't I tell you? All right.
Let's not move on just yet, because he made the point of how like we need Trump in this country, and like, he cares what Americans think about Trump, because internationally we talk a lot about like the drive-by media, and a lot of voters are uninformed. The general public is sort of like, I don't really pay attention to politics. That's a lot of the population. They're not really doing their research. They're not really following the news, stuff like that. We expect people internationally to be that more informed than our own people. It's just like, it's not realistic. And of course, internationally,
but you rely on the media to illuminate the public.
Yeah.
That's the problem that we've got. No, but
that's what the people.
That's their job. But that's their job. I think up until the 2000s, we could kind of rely on the media to some degree, to illuminate the public. But especially since 2016, it's all gone to hell.
Yeah, because here in the United States, like the freedom of press was like one of the biggest things. Like to have the press and to have the news and to read about like everything that's going on in the country, that was important since the beginning of the United States. So I think that's why now people still take that and still like give it the credit that it shouldn't get now. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but
no.
Yeah.
This is stupid me again talking, but no.
Well, Chris, I think frankly, we've got enough people from like what Trump would call like S-hole countries trying to come over here already, with Biden in charge of a failing country, with Biden making this country circle the ball.
I know.
So if people around the world found out how great Trump really was, talk about how the borders would be then. So I mean, come on, no vacancy, guys. Yeah, Trump. You know what, everybody in third world countries, Trump is really bad. He's a dictator. This country's horrible. You don't want to move here. You don't want to come here.
Well, I think
you go to third world countries. It's different because I go to Dominican Republic. I've been to Dominican Republic a few times, and I don't consider that a first world country. They're getting good. They're getting better every time. But it's funny. You'll find a lot of people there support Donald Trump. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And people in every country, they have their own problems. They have their own crooked politicians they got to deal with. They got their own inflation. They've got their own issues. So the thing worried about Trump, like what is Trump going to do? Roll in there like the guy they always compare him to with a bad mustache and take things over? Like they're not worried about that. They're worried about practical things. In the Dominican Republic, there was a presidential election one time, and the people voted for one guy, but like the other guy kind of stole it. This happened years ago. And so when this thing happened with Trump, they were like,
what I was getting. They were like, oh, that whole thing happened to our president here, and so they kind of related with it, you know. So it's funny because I was thinking too. I was like, we're like a third world country now. We have third world country problems, especially in our elections.
Well, listen, I can't find it. I'm looking for it right now, but I can't find it. But there was a video I saw the other day of an immigrant saying that she was, it might have been on Fox or something, an immigrant saying that she was going to move back to wherever she was from, like El Salvador or something, because New York was so terrible. She was like, everything's super expensive, and it's actually not as nice as people say it is. So she comes to New York and she's like, my country's better than this. And here's the crazy thing. I obviously, okay, I'll talk about my girlfriends for a second. Okay. Since I broke up with my ex,
Kurt leaves.
Kurt just leaves. He's like, I'm done with this show. I'm done with it. I've dated a few girls since breaking up with my ex, and they've been to New York. They've been to LA, some of these girls. And one girl in particular, this girl was from Belarus. But, you know, like I date a lot of Eastern European women. So this is the context, right? But this one girl in particular is a great example of this perception, right? She's from Belarus, which is a former Eastern European country, right? It's still got corruption in Belarus. If you need something from an official or an administrator of some kind, you have to bribe them. A powerful person, a cop, anybody with a little bit of power, you can bribe them in Belarus the same as you could in the USSR. It's still that kind of situation. She comes to New York. She's like, this is worse than Belarus. Like, there is no place in Belarus that I feel more. What's up? What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at this is worse than Belarus.
Yeah, no, she's like Belarus is a safe place. Like, I can walk around Belarus and I don't feel like I'm going to get killed. New York, I cannot walk through New York. So she moves to LA and she's like, LA is worse. It's worse here. She's like, you can't live. Like, she would come over to my place and she would not get out of the Uber unless I was already outside to greet her. Because there was just so many homeless people around.
I was gonna say, as you and I experienced living in LA, like I moved to LA after I got out of high school. I had to wait till I was 18 and I moved to Hollywood. I was just like, what a dump.
No, but that was even when it was better.
And I would try to walk around and there'd be like crackheads like literally holding bricks. I'd have to walk past a crackhead holding a brick and be like,
that's true.
Make sure that watch this guy and make sure he doesn't bash my effing head in, because from block to block it could take a sharp like decline. You know, it's like, oh man.
Right. But anyway, this Belarusian girl, she was not the only one that I've heard talk about this. Like, basically everyone who comes to New York or LA is horrifically disappointed, like you were, Kurt. And it's worse now because you went there in like 2000 or something like that. It's way worse now. It's way worse now. All right, let's move on to the next story. We got something else.
When I would come visit you in downtown LA, you were in your apartment, your nice apartment. But the surrounding area was like a freaking demilitarized zone. It was like, what is going on out here in these streets? And you would talk about it too, like, okay, I'm just gonna like order everything up to my apartment because like you don't want your wife, your now ex-wife, stepping foot out there because it's just not safe.
And there were some like nice restaurants and stuff that I would have loved to just walk to daily, but I didn't want to walk past the stench of human feces. Literally. Yeah. Anyway, America's going downhill.
It's a good point. Like, if she would have went to New York during Giuliani, the Republican governor, man, it was such an awesome. New York City was such an awesome place when Giuliani was there.
Yeah, true.
I loved it. It was like so much fun and it was great. It was great.
It even sounds good. It sounds like a festival. Like you have to go to New York during Giuliani. It's beautiful. Everybody is like celebrating
during Giuliani. Yeah,
pedals everywhere. You know,
like a pagan holiday.
And he was the one that initially cleaned everything up too, because it was a very dangerous.
New York before Giuliani was almost as bad as it is now. Maybe a little worse. But when he became governor, he cleaned that place up. It was like a different place. I remember because we moved to Florida, and we would go back to New York during Giuliani's reign of greatness. And I'd be like, I'd tell my dad, why the hell did you ever move to Florida?
Yeah.
You know,
It
like,
wasn't
why?
like
New York is
this.
so
It
great,
was-
but now I'm like, thank
Yeah.
God I'm in Florida.
Yeah, your dad was a genius. No, look, I went to New York the very first time I ever went to New York ever in my life. It was the year 1999. Year 1999. And it was honestly like a magical experience.
that was
I
a good
loved
year.
every single second of my time there.
That was a
It
good
was like
year.
a magical place. It was literally like a magical place. I wanted
Yes.
to move to New York after that.
Yes.
I did end up living in New York for a little while. It was okay. It was a little bit too, I don't know. The people in New York aren't always like the people in like certain industries, because I was in the TV industry when I was working there, and they're a little intense. They're not always polite. It's a tough industry. I'll always remember New York fondly from the time that I was there. But now it's a little bit, from what I hear. I haven't really visited New York lately, but
it's wild because when you're born in New York, you have such a pride of being born there.
Of course.
It's like, man, I was born and raised in New York. It's like a badge of honor. It's like something you're so prideful about. But like now I'm like, oh man, I can't stand that place. I don't know if I want to admit I'm from New York. You know?
Yeah.
It's sad. It's really sad.
Yeah, badge of shame.
No matter where you go, the pizza will always be terrible. That much we can know for sure.
Are you?
If you're from New York,
I'm gonna.
Because he's suggesting that New York pizza is the best pizza.
I'm gonna go through YouTube and charge you with some electrocution or something, man.
I know that English might be your third or fourth language, but I'm saying people in New York are pizza snobs, and you can't disagree with that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
We are.
Okay.
I actually weirdly, this is gonna sound rough, but I actually don't really like New York pizza that much.
Oh,
Famous praise or whatever. I'm not like a huge fan. I'm not
Jason.
Like a huge fan.
Well,
Jason,
it depends on it.
Now you can climb through the screen to get him.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
I did nothing wrong.
Well, it's a type of pizza because we have in New York. We have a saying, New Yorkers make better pizza than Italians. But go ahead.
The other pizza that I've tried that I didn't like was Chicago style pizza, that deep dish pizza. It's like a bread cake. It's like the weirdest. It's a weird. I mean, it's delicious, but it's so heavy. Like you can only eat a couple of bites and then you're done. You know what I mean? Like Chicago pizza is crazy. I think I prefer like actually Italian pizza, which does actually sound snobbish, but I'm gonna.
I was gonna say, yep. Chris would like the Italian pizza, of course. Like,
sorry, man. Yeah.
I went to Italy. It's funny. I went to Italy. Kurt, I'm sorry, Kurt. I went to Italy and I was like, oh, I got to try the pizza because Italy. That's where it comes from, right? When I tried the pizza, I was like, what the hell is this?
Right.
This
well,
is not pizza.
There are different places in Italy have different kinds of pizzas.
Sure.
And I've actually only had traditional Italian pizza, what people would call Italian pizza, outside of Italy because I've never been to Italy. I would like to go to Italy eventually, but I've never been. So I go to these like pizza places that are sort of higher end pizza places, and they have like, whatever, supposedly real Italian pizza. I don't know though for sure. I have to actually go to Italy to see that.
Chris,
yeah,
I know you're Scotch German, but to look at you, your shirt, your stubble, your hair, just like you got to be honorary Italian, right? Look at this.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of people think I'm Italian or Spanish or French or something.
I'd expect you to be making a pizza out of the view of the screen right now. Actually.
Yeah.
Just below is a cutting board. He's actually making.
Yeah, I like that, Chris. But that's the.
Hey.
All right, let's move on to next. What do we got next?
Very Italian, culturally heavy episode. I'm referencing Sopranos.
It is. Yeah,
where did this come
it's
from?
really weird.
I actually thought this was your brilliant segue. You went from New York to Chicago, and I was like, oh, he's going to do the Chicago story. But
I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose.
We can do the Chicago story if you want. Yeah.
See, I'm smart. You see,
Chris, give us the deep dish on the Chicago story.
You want the Chicago? Okay, let me go to the Chicago.
Yeah, sure.
Chicago, the Chicago mom, right? Chicago mom stuck for hours without help after calling 911 during home invasion. Dispatcher tells her, "We have no units to send you."
Yeah. Why don't we start with you guys, Jason? What do you think? What's your take on this?
Well, Kurt, go for it because you're the one that mentioned it. So,
well, I
didn't read the article. Sorry, guys.
Wow. I'm the professional. God help us. So in the story, basically, that I did read, it was she saw a couple of masked guys in her house. She showed up to her house. There were a couple of people that had broken in, robbers, because the place was empty. No mention of her children, so I guess they were at school or elsewhere, but she was alone. And she yelled at them, just like, "Hey, I see you. I call them the cops." And they bolted. And then she and her neighbor, doesn't say if it was a man or woman, chased after them.
Nice.
I guess they didn't catch them. But yeah, so she calls 911, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't have anybody to send you." And I think it was probably low priority because the people had fled. When I initially saw the story, and the image in my mind was, okay, like she's at home, people are breaking into her house. She's like, 911, these guys are breaking into my house. They're going to try to kill me or rape me or something.
But it doesn't really matter if they fled the scene. The 911 dispatcher, well, they don't know that for sure. They could have like run around the back of the house. Any home invasion should be like a top priority, unless there's like a terrorist attack at that moment. Yep, that needs to be a top priority. It's insane. But look, this is my take on this story.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on, Chris.
What do you mean?
Rich Rosetto says Chris only likes Eastern European pizza.
That was not worth interrupting. All right, so this is my take. This is my take. If you need to have a plan to defend your home. You need to have a plan to defend your home. Okay, of course it's got a gun, but it's not just a gun. Like at the end of the day, the point is you can never really rely on the police to save you. Yep. This is I think an illusion that people have that, I live in this amazing safe America. Yeah, it's and by the way, you should thank men for this. There is especially white European men who developed Western civilization and our laws and our systems and our the kind of engineering that is used to create our homes.
Chris,
the reason that you,
on behalf of Jason and myself, we thank you.
The point is, Western civilization has been made so safe for so many people so much of the time that we have an illusion that we're safe 100% of the time. That's how safe it is. And so women don't feel like they need men anymore because we created this wonderful safe society for you. But every once in a while, you get this kind of a situation. These home invaders, they come in and they might do some really nasty effed up things to you. And I don't just mean the typical stuff. I mean like what they're doing in Africa to the farmers, boiling them alive and stuff. Like there was a story a little while ago. I don't remember where it was from. I made a video about it. These teenagers came in, and there was a man that was handicapped. They threw gasoline on him and lit him on fire and just burned him to death. Just burned him alive. It was like the crazy. The two black kids. It was a white guy. These two black kids came in, and look, we have vicious, nasty people in America. And you've got to be able to protect yourself against these people. What this woman did, it was obviously a little bit dangerous. I hope she had a gun.
More of them are coming, and more of those people are coming over the border every day under Biden. So even more so.
Well, that's the thing. There are, like Trump said, they're not sending their best. If you're a criminal in Guatemala right now, and you're wanted by the police, where are you going?
God forbid you're in a swing state. They're flying them over to you. So
exactly. If you're wanted by the police, you are sneaking into America right now. That is your best option.
Good point.
So look, you can be sure, because it's rational for them to do it. You can be sure that that's what's happening. We are flooding America with criminals right now. Flooding America with criminals. And you got to be safe, people.
Yeah. And cops are only here to report your dead body. So
basically. Did we talk about last time the sort of like criminal tourism that was going on? Did we talk about that last show? Or did I just have it in the back of my mind? Yeah, so people will
the last show I wasn't there.
People will come into this country and commit like burglaries and things, and then just go back to their country. Because they're catch and release them, so they just like commit a crime and they're here and they're gone.
And then they'll take whatever loot that they've got and they'll spend it at their country where everything's cheap and easy. Unbelievable. All right, let's move on to the next story. That was a fun one.
By the way, if anybody wants to know why I'm on fire today, I did what Joe Biden does. I took a whole bunch of drugs.
You know what's funny about that, Jason? You know what's funny about that? Okay, so I mentioned this before on the show. I was sick for like a month. I was literally in bed for 2 weeks. I could barely.
I'm sick right now.
It was terrible. Yeah, well, that's just because I'm talking. so the other day, yesterday, I actually felt pretty good. I had to fly off to Malaysia for a couple of days, and I'm back, and I feel pretty good. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to get back into Muay Thai because I haven't done Muay Thai in like a month. And my trainer's like writing me like, where are you? And sorry, man, I'm sick. So I felt good. I felt like I wanted to jumpstart my body back into health, right? So what did I do? I took an absolute truckload of caffeine. I grabbed my pre-workout. I grabbed some kind of like stamina booster, which I'm pretty sure is for erectile dysfunction or something. But anyway, I don't have that problem, but I got the stamina booster because I felt like I needed more stamina in the gym. Anyway, so I took a couple of these things, and I get to this Muay Thai gym, and I'm like, I feel great. I'm like, this must be what Biden feels like when he does a speech. I was like, this is fantastic. You know, I actually got a story coming out about called "Is Biden on Drugs?" I don't think that's the next. Maybe the next story. Maybe the story after next. I'm going to do a couple of videos. I got a video coming out tomorrow, and then I got a video coming out the next day. It's going to be one of those. The other one's going to be about the Oxford Union speech by Mumford and Sons former banjoist. What's his name? Winston Marshall. This speech is amazing, guys. Stay tuned. Go ahead and watch this video that I produced. It's absolutely fantastic. And then of course I got the "Is Biden on Drugs" video coming out, which isn't exactly breaking news. I feel a little bit silly doing a video. It's like, why don't I make a video called "Is the Sky Blue?" But it's in the news right now, and there's a little bit of evidence to support the fact that he in fact does do drugs before speeches and before public appearances. So stay tuned for that. All right.
By the way, I just one last thing.
Yeah,
people, don't rely on the cops. Don't rely on the government. Arm up. Protect yourself. Protect your family.
Yep.
Never leave it to other people. Okay.
Have a plan. Have a plan. If there is a home invasion.
Be prepared. Always be prepared.
Actually why I chose this story was I figured that one of you or both of you obviously made that point. And yeah, it's like you
get your scary black gun.
get your scary black neighbor to help you.
Well, I have, like, you know when the BLM riots were going on the street below my apartment in LA, there was a rumor in the building. I was told by somebody else in the building that they had broken into our building and they were swarming into the lobby, which turned out not to be true. So I had to figure out a strategy to get my then girl out of the building. And so I, which was actually quite fun. I mean, she was pretty cool, actually, girl to be with, because I had my gun, obviously, and I had these massive sort of like armoire type things that were right next to our door of our room. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to shove this over in front of the door. That's going to be very difficult to get into. But if they do get in, I go, what I want you to do is I want you to go out the door here, jump over the balcony and go into the neighbor's apartment, because that apartment is going to be harder for them to find. And it's also right next to the stairwell. So you can just like escape down the stairwell if you have to. And she goes, no, I will grab a kitchen knife and kill them. And it was like totally like no, there's no irony. She wasn't joking. I'm just like, man, you got to get a Russian wife. Let me tell you.
Don't you love that? Like that's
I loved
something
it.
my wife.
That's
something my wife would say. Like, you know, that's great.
So I said, I mean, eventually, I think that kind of craziness a little turned on me a little bit. So, you know, she had to go. But but I said, okay, here's the deal. You grab the knife and then you go on the balcony. And she goes, oh, fine. So she did acquiesce. Yeah, it was quite a funny thing.
Man, you need to find one like that again, Chris.
Again, yeah.
Chris,
with that attitude.
Chris, your ex-wife was Sofia Vergara?
Yeah, I know.
How did I not know this? All right.
Hoff Power Concrete and Semperfied Crawfish Company jumped in again with $5. He says, been waiting for a home invader, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. That's
there's definitely some friends of mine that can relate with that statement, where they would just be like, it's just the wind. All right.
Honestly, I think at this point, at least for this episode, Hoff Power Concrete and Semperfied Crawfish Company is the fourth member of our team. here
Yes.
on Toxic Masculinity. This guy's awesome. All right, let's go to the next story, Jason.
Okay. Claim
Oh,
prosecutions.
we have to go back though. Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah,
You got it.
Prosecutions disbarment of Trump lawyers aims to chill GOP lawyers. This is an interesting story because it's. I've been saying this. Like that's what the Democrats' plan is to scare everybody away from trying to work with conservatives or Trump or
They're essentially doing the same thing to them that they're doing to Trump on like a smaller, more blanketed level. Where they're just like, okay, we have a zero tolerance policy on like Trump supporters and we're gonna like use lawfare on all of you. It's not just Trump, it's everybody.
Yes.
Well, this is what was crazy about this story. I didn't really know this. They've been doing this for a while. This is like a plan that somebody came up with. We're going to try to disbar conservative lawyers, anybody that's associated with Donald Trump. So they're just coming after us. I mean, this is what's funny is I often talk on the show about how Biden is an authoritarian dictator and how just by putting Trump through these trials, this is authoritarianism. By going after the January 6th protesters who just wanted to make their voices heard on January 6th, this is authoritarianism. These are the two biggest examples. There's also obviously things like unilaterally signing these executive orders that are flooding our country with immigrants, which no American wants. You're actually making America a worse place. To me, this is authoritarianism. But then also you've got this new thing, which I'd not really heard about. They're going after conservative lawyers just for being conservative or being on the side of their political opponents. This is another example of, this is the most authoritarian, totalitarian, unethical, corrupt regime I think we've ever had in American history, ever. And this is just another example of it. This is another extreme example of it. This is a very severe.
I don't know how much more evidence people need, but we are at a war. We are in war. It is not a shooting war, but we're in a war, and people need to think of it like that. Enough with the being soft. This is a war. These people are Marxists. They want to take over. They want to be tyrants. They want power over us. And if everybody who's
sorry.
I'm on a rant, and Chris.
I know you're doing good. You're doing good. I
forgot now. Go ahead, Chris.
But look. Yeah, you're right. These people need to be in prison. Everybody who's going after lawyers or Trump supporters or Trump or anybody for political reasons, we need to investigate that. We need to find who these people are, and they need to be in prison. You cannot do this in America and get away with it. Otherwise, America falls. These people need
otherwise, if we don't take care of it, it's going to become a shooting war. And that's the last thing we want in this country.
Yeah. Exactly.
So would you
Look,
say,
I don't normally...
Would you say, Jason, that we're basically like in a cold civil war at this point?
Oh, definitely. We've been in a cold civil war for I say over a decade. People just didn't know it.
At least since 2016.
These people, they're not Americans. They are Marxists. They are not Americans. They are communists. I'm sorry. I'm saying it.
We should have expected this because Obama was doing similar things over a decade ago. Like he was using lawfare. He was like sort of like persecuting his political enemies. So now that he is behind the curtain, of course he's going to be more extreme because he's not on the hook for anything.
Look, this is a relatively short story. I don't normally suggest people go read the stories that we talk about on the show because we're covering them on the show, and why would you go read the story? But this is one worth looking at. This is on Breitbart. And it's a shorter article. So if you want to look into this, maybe this is something I should do a video about, because this is, to me, this is one of the worst things I've seen in a while that people aren't really talking about. This is an underrated news story, I think. All right, Jason, let's check out the next one.
International Criminal Court files arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, this is
ridiculous.
This is kind of a crazy thing, right?
I'd love to see it. Like, I hope they do it. Like, and then see the repercussions of what the Mossad does to them.
Well, this is such a weird. Like, what is this International Criminal Court? Like,
yeah.
It's like there's no.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about as well. And once I read that story that was proposed by one of you, I think it was you, Chris. That's what what I did my research on, I was looking at like, who are these guys? And it's just sort
they
of
obviously have no credibility in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's another bureaucracy sort of a thing, like just like with the UN, with like with the EU, we have all these these huge groups, and just like that just muddies everything, clouds everything, and you have these like and you have the speakers, the people that speak for these groups, just like okay, does what they say matter? Like it's politics without any teeth. It's just people doing this, so it's like, okay, whatever.
And by the way, look at these. This looks like a movie, like a badly made movie with like a team of supervillains. You know what I mean? Like, who the hell are these guys? And this is Kareem Khan, right? So this is obviously some kind of Muslim guy who presumably doesn't like Israel.
Chris, it's pronounced cream corn.
My mistake. I'm so sorry. But anyway, it's like, okay, this guy's Tom Tillis has written, the ICC has shown what a complete joke it is. That's what I'm saying. They've lost all credibility, right? Putting Israel's prime minister on the same level as Hamas terrorist leaders. It's just ridiculous. Look, countries have a right to defend themselves. Whether or not you agree with Putin's right to invade Ukraine, right? Because they've done the same thing with Putin, right? They like he's now a war criminal or something. War is war. War is not like I think what they're saying, because they're trying to say that Israel. I believe they said something like Israel has specifically targeted civilians, which is not true. I mean, if you know anything about the tactics of Hamas, you know that they use human shields, right? And so if you want to get Hamas, there's going to be some collateral damage. This is going to be true in any war. It's particularly true of this war because of the tactics of Hamas. So this idea that they're specifically targeting
I don't want to cut you off.
I think that's a lie.
Didn't you read that they like cut the statistics in half of how many kids they actually killed? Like it was like 50%. You didn't read that article?
Yeah, because they initially had a assessment of what the death toll was. They're just like, let's walk it back a little bit. So was the initial one correct?
Oh, Hamas did? Hamas walked back their own assessment?
No. Somebody that assessed Israel, I think it was.
Yeah.
Decided that it's like,
no, I know. It's an assessment of who Israel's killed, but who is providing that assessment is what I'm saying. So who cut it in half?
I just read an article. I don't know who came up with it.
When we're going to spit facts on this show,
it was big news. It was an actual article that said that. I'll look for it. Go ahead and talk.
But it's critical whether these are the numbers that Israel put out or the numbers Hamas put out or the numbers America's put out. This is all that. If you're going to criticize somebody for cutting the numbers of their assessment in half, try to figure out who's making the assessment. That's an important part of the story.
Chris, you're Mr. Reagan. I thought you would know this. Come on.
I didn't read this.
You're the smart one here.
Yes.
Where I am, I wake up and we start the show in an hour. So I have to read through all the articles quickly. And you guys didn't give me any articles today. So I mean, you gave me, I think, 6 or something. So I had to go through and I had to find a bunch of like supplement articles for us. I didn't have time to go and just like, read all the news of the day because I have other work to do.
UN halves. UN halves.
Okay, so it's UN's assessment.
Women and children killed in Gaza.
Right. Yeah. Right. They just okay. That's pretty funny. Yeah. That's a problem because the UN does tend to support Palestine, right? Exactly. So for them to make that assessment, I got a question for you guys real quick. Do you think, because this is my guess, do you think that Israel is just going to take over the West Bank, take over the Gaza Strip, and that's it? No more Palestine, no more Palestinians.
I think that's
you guys are done.
I think that's the aim. That's the goal, and they're going to push it as far as they can while they're still getting away with it. That's what they're going for. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think they're going to take it over, try to clean it out of Hamas as much as they can. Maybe give a few years to like change the people's minds there that live there. And if they can make Gaza like another part of Israel with their same type of government and the way the people are, I think that would be great for the Middle East. So
I think Israel is going to take over those areas and slowly push out. I think even Palestinian. I mean, probably Palestinian like successful businessmen will be able to stay. Probably ordinary citizens, a lot of them will be able to stay.
Yep,
but
because remember,
doesn't
Israel has a lot of Muslims and Palestinians that live inside Israel, right?
True. Yeah, no, but I think those regions will be heavily policed, and anybody who is suspected of all of being against Israel there's going to be some consequence for them. So I think that's going to instill fear into people who are anti-Israel, and they're probably going to push a lot of those people out. I think we're going to see that region change quite a lot in the next few years.
Well, they're gonna send them all here, by the way. So
I know, probably. Yeah. You're probably right. That's probably right.
I'm going to disagree with you, Chris. I don't think it's going to be slow. I think their moment is now. I think they're going to do as much as they can, as quickly as they can. It's not going to be like a slow burn thing.
No. Obviously, I mean after the war, Kurt.
Okay.
Of course, during the war, they're going to do as much of that as they can. But then after the war, it's not like they're going to say, okay, we're going to give back the West Bank and, the Gaza Strip. We're going to give this back to, the Palestinians. They can have their own government and everything. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going.
That's what I
think.
The war. That's what I think. I think they're going to go in full force now with the war. Try to kill as many of Hamas leadership and people in there, and like you said, they'll police it. Keep trying to get those people, and then eventually, like through hearts and minds, hopefully make them realize that it's a better life if you like.
You're part of Israel now.
Yeah.
And now is the time because. Just like what we know very well, we got the greatest power in the world is the United States, and we've got a puppet. We're weak. The United States is weak now, which is why we have what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, which is why we have Korea now like flying bombs over Japan again, North Korea, obviously. But it's like this is all going on because Biden is in the White House, because America is weak. When America is weak, the world suffers, and that's what we're looking at. So Israel is going to. While the cat's away, the mice will play, as they say.
Yeah, I want it to end fast, man, because, man, I hate that women and children are getting killed. Yeah. It's like
war is hell. War is
there's
hell.
no point to it, really. But I just hope it's fast and quick and it's over with soon.
Half Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company jumps in. He says, "War, Marxist versus marksman." It's an interesting perspective. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if
I'm a fanboy of him. I'm a fanboy.
Me too. I love this guy. Yeah. And I love that he advertises his two businesses as a screen name. That's so smart. All right, Jace, let's go to the next story, shall we?
Okay. Shock poll. Young voters break for Trump on 2 top 2024 issues.
Oh, I didn't even notice this one. I didn't even notice this one. All right, let's have a look. While younger folks are typically expected to lean left, given their long history of voting for Democrats in the 20th and 21st century, the abysmal administration of President Joe Biden may be turning the tides on that historic trend. The youngest voters have long been infamous for both their love of liberalism and disdain for conservatism. Whether it was a hippie movement that heavily involved protests against the war in Vietnam or modern anti-Jewish protests at colleges, the young minds of... God, why do they got this stupid toenail ad? It's disgusting. Yeah, you gotta work on that. The Gateway Pundit, like, use a little bit more discretion with your disgusting ads. Okay,
Chris, that's an ad for the new Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah. They call Jewish protests at colleges. The young minds of America lean toward the blue party. The youth are also far more likely to buy your standard Democrat lie, untruths like student loan forgiveness and universal health care. Yeah, it's true. College students tend to be pretty gullible, it seems. Data supports this, as well as an April report from the Pew Research Center found that nearly double the amount of blah, 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 blah. Let's get to the actual new polls. Let's see. Okay, so there's a new poll out. The poll was conducted from April 27th to April 29th. An online sample of 943 voters aged 18 to 30 were surveyed by Blueprint. The margin of error is blah, 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 blah. Unsurprisingly, the youth widely leaned toward the sitting president when it came to handling issues such as healthcare and corruption, but there were two major exceptions. When it came to lowering prices and securing the border, most young voters were on the side of the former president, Donald Trump. as we've already talked about, young voters are much closer ideologically to Joe Biden than they are to Donald Trump. Man, they keep repeating the same damn thing. This is the most filler article I've ever read. But the two biggest issues this election, inflation and immigration, it is very notable that with young voters, those are the only places Donald Trump has an advantage. That is actually pretty interesting. I mean, I think what it shows is that voters really care about those issues so much so that they're willing to sort of break from their usual voting habits and actually think independently, which Democrats really don't do. But I think that these issues are so powerful that people are like, you know what? We got to start thinking outside the box a little bit. We can't be hemmed in by our ideology.
Chris, can you repeat the top two issues? I'm sorry.
Are you kidding me?
Immigration.
No, I was reading. I'm sorry. I was reading.
The two I's: immigration and inflation.
I got to come down here. Immigration.
I have a story. I have a story about the inflation. Okay, this is crazy. Okay, so I'm in Walmart, right? I'm shopping. I'm making a shopping, and I practically got nothing. You know, like maybe a few things. And I'm going on the line. The lady does the whole whatever she does in the cash register, and she tells me $110. I'm like, what? I'm like, $110. No, let me see. And she's like, yeah.
Hold on. What were you buying? What were you buying?
In Walmart, I bought some food and some things for the baby, you know, my son. Yeah. And but it was like maybe 10 things, and it was like $110. And I was like, so I had to check. I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, all right, it's $110. But the guy behind me, might I add, black man, looks at me. He's like, "This inflation is killing us." So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for it. I said, well, we need to vote that freaking man out of office, you know, because I can't take this anymore. And you know what he said? He said, "Oh yes, we got to get rid of him." I was like, first time in my life I've encountered a situation like that, especially with a African American, no, especially with a black man, you know, like, well, I mean, for me, that was a sign. That was my poll saying, if he loses, it's a complete cheat.
Well, you can tell if somebody's leftist or conservative, at least to some degree. I don't know what the accuracy is, but we covered this on the show. I think there are AI models now that can read your face and with fairly good accuracy, apparently, determine whether you're conservative or leftist. So you should be able to look at people and go, okay, they're leftist. So I think the reason why it was profound for you wasn't just because he's a black guy. He's a black guy that you looked at and you just thought, this guy's a leftist, right? And then you talk to him and you're like, oh, even he agrees with me here. Did we lose Jason? No, he's not frozen.
I'm here.
I think Jason is shocked that you're implying that he's a racist. I think that's why he was frozen.
I was not implying that at all.
Well, I don't know. I take issue with this black guy because, frankly, if I have an issue with what my bill looks like and I turn and I see a black guy, I want him to say, "Damn." And he said,
why didn't he say damn?
And he said,
Jason,
this inflation is killing us. It's like, that's not what I want for you in this moment. All right?
Yeah. What is this, a British black guy? What's happening? I don't understand.
Kurt, black people are normal. Black people are just like you and I.
No. Come on, Jason. Let's be realistic here.
I know, but I'm like, for the story.
I know.
No, Jason, we want to hear an hell no. We want to hear an hell no.
No.
No, they didn't. That's what we want to hear.
I know Kurt was representing a Democrat's point of view. I know it wasn't actually you that was saying that.
No.
That's actually what I'm afraid of. If I go to this site and they like look at my face, like, are they going to assume that I'm a Democrat? Like that's what I'm worried about right now. Like,
I know it's a terrifying prospect,
if I'm
right?
a Democrat, like, like I'm gonna have to change my whole lifestyle.
No, we want the next time we hear a story about a black guy, Jason, we want to hear the words shit, and then we want to hear him say, that inflation be killing us. That's what we want to hear. Like members of Congress.
Inflation is whack, yo. We want the black guy from Not Another Teen Movie. from not another teen movie. Like, just culture it up a little bit for us.
Yeah,
Pretend you're
we
Leslie
only
Nielsen.
want caricatures and stereotypes on this show from now on.
If I'm ever on CNN, I will definitely say it like that. Okay.
That's oh my god, they would lose their mind. He didn't really say that though, did he? Oh yes, he did.
But in back of their head, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, he definitely said it like that."
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah,
gotta
okay,
keep
it's
my-
probably true. Yeah.
No, they're not gonna.
You could have cleaned it up for TV there, buddy.
Exactly. They're not gonna ask. If
We
he
know
actually
they're like
said
that, but
way.
come on, guy.
Yes, exactly. You hit it. That.
I don't really understand this comment, but it's a super chat, so I'm going to read it. Bermuda Rectangle writes, I can post with this channel if you prefer, Hoff. Yes, Bermuda Rectangle. Always post with toxic masculinity. All right. Shall we jump on to the next story, sir? We've had enough fun with that one, I think.
This is a X post. Biden exists in a state of perpetual confusion. Yeah, it's a wild video.
Well, but here's the thing about this video. Okay, I think somebody's chair creaked or something like that, so people laughed as if it sounded like a fart or something. This is my guess. And then Biden didn't know why people were laughing. But what I want you guys to pay attention to is how many people are at this so-called Biden rally.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is
that was a rally?
Well, apparently Andre 3000 is there.
Biden doesn't know what's going on. Look how many people are there. It's
Democrats, please join me in giving a warm welcome to the 46th president of the United States.
It's like a birthday party.
Everybody behind him.
Good Lord.
It's like an average person's birthday party.
I haven't watched this yet. That is like, that's sad.
But hold on. It gets worse. It gets worse, guys. Because I want to contrast this with a Trump rally. Oh, yeah.
What a typical Trump rally, I would say, would look like, right? Full. You got a ton of people here that have been here, like I said, for hours. But if we walk behind,
look how far back that goes,
and take you through where the press is, this is the astounding part here. This is one of the largest Trump rallies I've ever been to in the last 5 years or so. And you can see just thousands back here. And most of those is going to show you this is.
Yeah, that's a Trump rally. And
oh my God.
Yeah.
But it goes back to like the end of the land. Like it goes back to water.
Yeah.
People are
farther than you can see with the naked eye.
Backed against a railing so they don't fall into a river. That's insane.
And then you look at the Joe Biden rally. It's like an old person's home.
Can you go down to the Joe Biden one? Can you go down in the X post and show that man's face?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, hold on.
That this dude has doubts.
This dude has doubts. Hold on a second. It's just like, yeah, I gotta be here. Hold on. What?
If you go down,
can we bring back some more black stereotypes? What do you mean down? What does that mean down?
If you go down the post, the tweet.
To
see the
down,
comments. I'm sorry, to see the comments.
Comments. Yeah. Hold on. Who the hell is he saluting? That's a good question. What specific comment are you looking for?
Keep going. There.
Oh, this guy. This dude has doubts. You know what he said? You know what he's thinking? You know what word he's thinking? Shit. What else? I think he's also thinking, no, he didn't.
No, what he's thinking is, okay, let's get this over so I could get my $100.
They said if I shook your hand, that erased my priors. They're going to do that, right?
No, the truth is, I'm guessing that this is a mixed bag of gullible Democrats, obviously. And there are probably some guys like this, intelligent guy, probably thinks for himself, looking at Biden. And I think that this Tanner ex Rubicon is right. I think this guy's thinking, what am I doing here? This guy's a joke. This guy is a joke, right? Like, I think it's going to be difficult for people to see Joe Biden in real life.
This dude. I thought you meant the dude checking. Okay, the guy with the hat. Yeah.
I think they're paid.
Yeah.
But wait, Chris, this is a rally?
Well, I don't know what it is. Some kind of meet and greet, but it's the most that they can muster, obviously.
The dude you were pointing out, Jason, like, yeah, that's a red pill moment right there. He's like, oh my God, there's nothing behind his eyes. There's nothing behind his eyes.
Exactly. Well, because here's the thing, right? Like, if you see a Trump rally of that size and you're the Biden campaign, wouldn't you also want to create a moment like that for Joe Biden? Wouldn't you want to create a rally or something that's going to show the power of Joe Biden to bring in, voters or just like average Americans to like listen to what he has to say? No, they put this. They put up this. Look, they
Democrats.
They
Democrats
organize this.
Yeah, Democrats, go back to the basement. This is not working. Look at the man. Look at him. Just look at his face.
Well, like, you remember during COVID, they used to limit the amount of people that could come to a Biden rally because they didn't want anybody getting sick. That was their excuse. That was their justification. Yeah. They no longer have that justification. Nope. This is the most they can muster.
Yeah.
In a non-COVID election cycle.
I think their best strategy, keep him hidden. Don't let him out. I think he can't win or lose that way. Like, this is just, it's embarrassing. It's like,
I wish I had photoshopped a side-by-side, this versus the Trump rally, because and honestly, like, you can't even get, that's the crazy thing about that Trump rally. That guy had to turn the camera around and walk through the press area to get the rest of the, like, you couldn't get the whole crowd in one shot. Like, I don't know if there's a picture of that Trump crowd that actually does justice to the size of that crowd, but you can definitely get this in one shot.
Yeah,
you can definitely get this one.
If you go down, go to the Trump one. If you go down the comment section, you'll they have like a picture of the whole crowd.
Oh, do they? Like a good one?
Yeah. And that's not even showing the full one, because if that picture was actually wider and you could see people waiting in the back, like in
what the hell was that? Okay, that's just sexual at that point. That's a weird thing. I don't see this picture. Oh, it's this
right there.
Like this? Yeah. Well, I actually don't know if this is the whole crowd, right? This might be the whole crowd.
No,
this might be them coming in or leaving.
There was a wider shot.
And then you had all these people back here.
Because remember, I think they were only allowed 80,000 inside, but outside there was like another.
You can see all these people by the 10. It looks like they're trying to get in, and all these people are swarming in here. So this is not even when it's at full capacity. This is like still people waiting to get in and stuff. So I'm not sure what the full thing would have looked like. This is probably all filled up, actually. This looks like this is the press here, and we saw him, show, and there was much more people. So this,
but if you look at that picture, even that picture, like, there's huge bands that can't even bring a crowd like that. There's like
huge. This is right. This is exactly right. Yeah. But just that contrast to me is very striking. Just that contrast to me is very Kurt. It takes Kurt a second to get these jokes.
I think when I look at a computer, I think I'm in a bit of a time delay.
Maybe, yeah. All right. Well, let's read a couple of the super chats here.
All right.
Dame Piglet writes, a recession is when your neighbor loses his job. A depression is when you lose your job. Recovery is when Biden loses his job.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's brilliant. I absolutely love that. Dame Piglet, you're a genius. The Eerie Fairy Tales writes, a tip for the show. Thanks, fellas. Well, thank you, the Eerie Fairy Tales. I like your profile pic with all the books. I don't read as much as I should, but I'm a big book guy.
But did she read all those? I can't believe a woman would read that many books.
Oh, wow.
That's funny. That's toxic masculinity, ladies and gentlemen. No, women do tend to be better readers than men.
Yes.
I would say on average. My mom loves to read. She reads. She's got a book always. If I ever visit the house and I use my folks' bathroom in their bedroom bathroom, there's always a book on like the toilet seat. There's Chris, on the bowl, not on the seat, on the bowl behind the seat. Always a book
romance books don't count.
No, she doesn't read that. She likes. I'll say the only trashy books my mom reads are true crime. She does read true crime books, but otherwise they're a little bit more highbrow.
Wow, she says she's read all those books. in
That's
a month,
cool. That's
February.
Good. I respect.
Awesome.
I know in 1 month. Oh my gosh, that's brilliant. I wish I'm still reading the same book that I started like a year ago. So I'm a slow reader because I read so much news stuff. I don't. What am I reading? I'm reading From Russia with Love. That's my new book, the old James Bond novel.
Mm-hmm. Read it.
Guns for General Washington. That's Jason's book right now. All right, let's move on to the next. Famous sheriffs and Western outlaws. I love it. All right, Jason, next story. All
right. Next story is Explainer, the foiled coup in DR Congo. Here's what to know.
Yeah. So this is what I was talking about earlier when I said we're going to get to, the story about not trusting the CIA or whatever. So there's these guys. What is this? There's these guys that, there was a coup in the Congo apparently, and there's these American guys that were captured. You guys might, I'd rather actually not show the footage of that because it is a little bit graphic, and I don't want to get this, taken off. But yeah, apparently there was a coup in the Congo, and there was Americans involved, and so a lot of people are speculating like this might have been a CIA arranged coup, but it was so bad, like it was like so unprofessional and so crappy. Who knows? Maybe these guys were just mercenaries. It's not clear exactly what happened yet, but a lot of the. No, they caught the coup guys and they just arrested them or killed them off. And I don't know much about the Congo, but it's like, here's my take on this story. I don't want to focus a lot on this story, but I just want to say, if this was an American operation, like, this is embarrassing. Like we got to get our crap together. We're America. If we stage a coup, let's make sure that coup is effective. All right. Like, what are we doing staging coups where we get caught? We're America. All right. Our coups work. That's always okay. It's not always been true, but it should always be true.
We've been hijacked, so I can completely believe that.
Agree with you.
So
agree with you.
Nothing
You
these
got anything
people
on this,
do works
Kurt, or
now.
should we jump to the next story?
Congo is an underrated film. If you like Jurassic Park and you haven't seen Congo, you should definitely watch it. It's a good time.
I have not seen Congo. I didn't even know that was a film until now.
You call yourself a cinephile. You disgusting. Moving on.
Yes, I've missed that legendary classic Congo.
Ernie Hudson's best work. It's a great ensemble cast. You guys should probably do it on Make Movies Great Again. Or wherever that
I've literally never heard of this movie.
Wherever that little project you and Sebastian Gorka have going on there.
The token black guy from Ghostbusters. Can't wait.
How dare you?
Let's move on to the next story, Chase.
Wakanda science.
Oh,
that was it.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna just play this video because this is the weirdest. This is my buddy Josh, by the way.
That's Terrence Howard.
It's Terrence Howard on Joe Rogan, and I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's sort of like going viral on YouTube, right? Or on YouTube, on Twitter right now, or X, I guess.
Is it? Okay.
Because Terrence Howard has apparently lost his mind. Let's go ahead and watch it.
When you say rebuild the periodic table, what do you mean specifically?
Well, the way the periodic table is laid out, the periodic table they have now,
let's see.
It looks like a box. It looks like a straight box.
Mm-hmm.
They don't show that hydrogen has the same tone as carbon.
What do you mean by tone?
Same tone, same key of E. Same key of E. 40.5 hertz. The next one will be like 81 hertz. You go to silicon, it will double up and it'll be 162 hertz. You go to cobalt and it'll be 324 hertz. It's take the angles of incidence for tones that they create. Their color. Like you can turn color back into sound based upon it's the same wavelength, it's just twice as long or much longer. So all you have to do is keep dividing light by 2. You keep dividing light by 2, and you'll ultimately get back to the audible sound of it, because there was a relationship between light and color, sound and tone, matter and shape. Walter Russell's periodic table that he put together. Now you will compare that to Mendeleev's periodic table, and you'll see something completely different. It's unwinding.
Whoa.
And you see there's a relationship that hydrogen.
So you had figured this out at a young age?
I had already seen this This was all inside of that palace. I had access to it, and I knew the
So you
relationship.
saw this in dreams.
I saw it as a circle. Everything was a full circle laid out, and each area was just expanding, like wrapping a rag around your hand. The first wrap, it's so tight. This is how I saw it more so, but as a vortex, you'll see there's a relationship between hydrogen, carbon, silicone, cobalt.
All right, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I just thought this was pretty funny. Look, either this is the debate that's going on Twitter. Is Terrence Howard some kind of idiot savant, some kind of genius that we just don't understand? Or has he taken a few too many mushrooms? That's the big question.
I was going to say, this is the video you watch to see Joe Rogan realizing that he's got the second best weed guy in town.
I know.
He's just like, hey, Terrence, get me up with those digits. I need your guy. Your guy.
That's not
the good stuff.
That's not weed. I'll tell you that right now.
No, that's something stronger than weed, I would say. But who knows? Maybe he's just a genius. I don't know what he's talking about. He's on a completely other level, and I don't know if that level is higher, lower, or just in some other dimension than the rest of us. But that is some weird, wild stuff. I just thought I'd put that out there for the people in the comment section to jump in. Yeah, it's wacky. So if curious what you guys think about this. So throw us a comment.
If
and
it makes sense out of what he said. But
if you can make sense out of what he said, let us know. Yeah. Otherwise,
like it's not like I'm putting him down or anything, like, because I don't know. I didn't understand.
I
what
don't
he was
know
saying,
either.
So.
I don't know either. I've not done ayahuasca, so I am not at that level yet. All right, so let's go ahead and
clearly he has a racial agenda here, because he's like, science is not square, it's curly. Just like, okay, Terrence, fair enough.
Are you talking about, is this a racial thing?
Yes, obviously.
That's hilarious. Because black people's hair is curly, ladies and gentlemen, and therefore their science has to be curly.
Rogan's just like, I'm neutral. I'm totally neutral. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, let's jump on to the next story here.
I'm sure his fanboy Franklin laughed at that really hard.
Oh, that was hard.
Jason, just relax. You'll get a fan one day.
Off Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company gave us $2 for that good weed. That's all yours, Carl.
All right.
I'm good.
The Trump trial. Cohen says he stole thousands from company.
Yeah, this is crazy. So he's apparently today, Cohen admitted on the stand that he literally embezzled money from the Trump administration. And according to an article that Kurt sent us that I didn't actually read, MSC is now defending him. I got that damn toenail ad again. All right, let's have a watch.
Inside the courtroom, you've been there almost every day. You have the strength of beyond mortal men. But what was worth it to you today? What did you see? What did you hear?
Well, the courtroom is where I began as a writer and a reporter a long time ago. So this is a homecoming for me in terms of a workplace. The shocking thing at the end of that cross-examination, and I just can't tell you how stunning it was, because it's the thing that I was waiting for. I saw everything Todd Blanche. I've seen every minute of cross-examination. I've seen every single question he's asked. And he sat down and ended his cross-examination without asking a single question about the $130,000 that appears on the Alan Weisselberg notes about how they were structuring the payment to Michael Cohen. He asked about the $50,000 that's irrelevant to the $130,000, and that's where he very effectively got Michael Cohen to agree that yes, he stole $30,000. Later, when Cohen was asked about that on redirect by the prosecution, it didn't really sound like stealing $30,000. It sounded a lot like Michael Cohen doing the little that he could within that calculation to rebalance the bonus he thought he deserved, and it still came out as less than the bonus he thought he deserved and the bonus he'd gotten the year before.
Give everybody the benefit of the doubt except Trump. Come on.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
No, they're not even giving him the benefit of the doubt. They're literally saying it was okay for him to steal this money because he felt he deserved a bonus.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Like,
this is like the
like
Black
if you're a
Lives Matter
Democrat,
looters. This is like the Black Lives Matter looters saying, "Oh no, it's okay because their ancestors were slaves. This is like reparations." Bullshit! This is reparations. What the hell? Like, you don't even know who owns this store. It could be a Korean immigrant. You know what I mean? Like,
insane.
what the hell are you talking about? This is acceptable because of reparations or whatever. Look, none of us own slaves. I didn't own a slave. Okay, none of my ancestors owned slaves. Or I've done the family tree on ancestry.com. I'm a straight white man, right? I'm German, I'm Scottish. You know, I'm exactly the kind of people that they attack, right? I'm the guy that they attack. There's no history of slavery in my family. There's no history of oppression. You know, there's no civil rights abuses or anything. Like, my family was never in power like they pretend that we were for generations. Like, all of these attacks and stuff like that are BS. The same thing is happening here. Donald Trump paid this guy for legal services. He did not give him a bonus. You know why? Because Cohen is a useless piece of garbage. He's a narcissist who thinks that he is owed more than he is worth. In fact, I don't even think Trump should have paid him. I think Trump should have said, you know what? I'm going to sue you because you're such a crappy lawyer and I'm not going to pay you anything. But instead, of course, he paid him probably a salary that was probably worth far more than he was, you know, than he added in value. And then Trump doesn't give him a bonus, probably because he didn't deserve a bonus. And then he's like, oh, I feel like I deserve a bonus, so I'm going to just steal from the Trump organization. And MSNBC says, well, you know, he didn't steal as much as he thought he should get as a bonus, and therefore it's okay. Yeah. Lawrence O'Donnell, like, if he hasn't already lost all credibility in the minds of people, he needs to lose all credibility from this comment here. This was the most inane BS I have ever heard from a reporter, probably
it's
ever.
ridiculous.
And this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Sorry.
I'm compiling a video to show foreigners stupid things left to say. I'm putting this in. This is going in.
This is what I'm saying. Like, if you're a Democrat, like, come on, man, wake up. I mean, if this stuff doesn't wake you up by now, it's like I said, everything is rigged now because these people can't possibly be supported. I mean, I know there's some dumb, gullible people out there, but man, it
is amazing, isn't it? It's amazing that anyone supports Biden, the left, the mainstream media, corrupt Democrat politicians.
Yeah, it's like if Republicans were doing this, I'd be the first one to be like, "What is wrong with you people?"
Of course,
like,
well, we do. Like, we call them rhinos, and we say, "Get rid of them."
I did it after the 2020 election. After 2020, right? After the 2020 election, when I saw all the news coverage saying how it was Fox, all these conservative news channels and everything were saying that the election was not rigged or anything like that, and they were actually saying Biden won.
You know what I did? Turned on Fox.
You know what I did?
Yeah.
I canceled all Fox, but the other thing I did, I took my voter registration and I changed it to independent because I was so sick and tired of these freaking people, you know. And it's funny because you don't see Democrats do that.
This is the difference between the conservative side and the leftist side. The conservative side has something called principles. And if our own side, people on our own side defy those principles, we turn on those people. That's how we do it, right? Like, there is an extreme right wing, okay? And I don't really even I don't consider these people right wing, but like, you know what I mean? Like the white supremacists, actual white supremacists. We're not talking about like extreme MAGA Republicans. I mean, like actual white supremacists.
The one white supremacist in freaking, I don't know where.
Well, that's what I mean. There's like 6 of them left in America, but conservatives don't go, you know what? They may be horrible racists, but they're voting the same way we are. Therefore, we embrace them. They're part of our group. But you know what the left does? The left sees Antifa or Black Lives Matter or these crazy lunatics, and they go, you know what? They're actually part of our group. They don't condemn their extreme side. We condemn our extreme side. You know what I mean? Because we have principles. The left has no principles. They just say whatever they think is going to keep them in power or make them more. They are despicable degenerates. Yes. And you're absolutely right, Jason. It is shocking and appalling that anyone supports the left.
Yeah. By the way, people, that rooster you hear, that's coming from Kurt's
Hawaii.
place.
That's from Hawaii.
He's into Santeria. He has a lot of roosters there.
Roosters in Hawaii.
Jason, I don't know if the rooster's gonna crow or not. I don't have a crystal ball, right?
Kurt,
you're into voodoo there. You sacrifice roosters.
Oh, I thought you were making a reference to Sublime, so I kept it going.
I'm not that smart, right?
No, this is not working. This joke is terrible. Listen, but I will add that Hawaiians, like the rooster crow, the cockadoodle
terrible joke.
Kurt, let me finish the joke. The rooster sound to Hawaiians is like the fire alarm chirp to black people. They just don't hear it anymore.
Wow.
Man, it took a long time to get that out, and I got no reaction.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Can you explain? I don't get it.
Oh, you guys don't know about the chirp? You don't know about the fire alarm chirp with the black people?
No.
Yeah, they noticed a while. I'm surprised. We should do this as a story, but I'll just tell it. So a while back, they noticed that they would like interview, like man on the street style. They would have people
for the record,
call
Jason
in.
and I love black people. We don't support Chris in this statement. Go on, Chris.
Well, this is 100% true. This is like a mainstream thing now. So they noticed that when they would have like a call with black people, in their home or a Zoom call or something like that they're, the fire alarm, if the battery's low, it'll go beep, like super loud.
Uh-huh.
Well, apparently within Black America, black people don't change out the battery. And they just let it go because they think that's part of what like it's supposed to do or something. They don't know they're supposed to change the battery out. So there's this like epidemic in America of black people with fire alarms that don't work because they don't know they're supposed to replace the battery. And so like it's a big thing online where they'll have moments in movies with like a black actor and then they'll put in a chirp. And, like people online will like edit in a chirp or something. It's hilarious. Like it's like a big thing. I'm surprised you guys never heard about that. Yeah, black people in America, not all black people obviously, but this is a thing. They don't hear the chirp. They have to be told, listen for the chirp. That's your fire alarm. Needs a battery replaced. It's a weird thing, but they just get used to it. They've just gotten used to it over the decades.
Sure, if you're used to it. Yeah.
I'm really not going to be able to get a normal job now.
Oh, because of the show? No, Jay, this is not like a conservative only thing. This is like a known this is a real thing that is actually true. It's weird.
Maybe you can be like a fire inspector or something. But you can parlay this into a new career for yourself. I was at the forefront exposing this need for the community.
I don't think this is a racist thing. This is more just like a weird fact.
Of course it's not.
No.
More
of course
of a thing
not.
because we don't like you.
All right.
Wait. What's the story we're talking about? Oh yeah, this guy. So I'm actually really glad you played the video. I didn't listen to the video. I didn't watch the video. I just read the article that had the quotes, the excerpts taken out of it. And what I found interesting about it, torturous actually, in the actual watching of the video, was this long lead-in, like, oh, we got this guy. This guy is a guy you got to listen to because he's a smart guy. He's got like this lineage, blah, blah. It seemed to me like this was this guy, like he made a deal to sort of like go out and be a sacrificial lamb. Like my credibility is going to be executed here live on MSNBC to tens of viewers because nobody watches this crap. But he's just sort of like, oh yeah, this guy. This is a guy you got to listen to. They really sort of like propped him up. And then he gets out there, they throw it to him. He's just like, oh yeah, I'm definitely the guy you got to listen to because I've had years of. I'm just like, just like say it already. But he knows, they know, and he knows that his credibility is done. This is it for him. So he must have got like something. He must have got like, some pictures of him on Hempstead Island disappeared, or he got like a nice nest egg. He got something out of this because he's like, oh yeah, I'm done after this. It's over for me. So it's just like, okay,
you think so?
Give me the script. Absolutely. That's the vibe I was getting off of from the first half of it was all fluffing him up. They were fluffing up, and he was fluffing himself up, and then he comes out there and goes like, yeah, you know what? he got a $40,000 bonus the previous year, and he only stole $30,000. So he kind of was owed it, right? he knows this is like.
Well, Laura, you just haven't seen enough Lawrence O'Donnell, because Lawrence O'Donnell says some dumb crap.
I've seen more than enough with just that clip alone.
Yeah, exactly. Chris, Chris, to go back to your joke, it's not racist because every race has their stupid things people do. Like 100%. How many things can we say about white people, the stupid things they do, or Spanish people, or you know?
Okay, hold on. Let's not.
The thing is, the Democrats are going to look at you and
Pelosi
say he can't say that. He can't say that.
Oh, it's true. It's so true. It's so true. Half Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company says the results of people not getting punched in the face anymore. I think I was delayed because in reading that super chat, because I think that's regarding a previous thing that we were talking about, and it's now totally out of context.
But it's funny because I was telling my wife just the other day, Hofboy, that people these days, they don't get punched in the face anymore. You know?
Right. Well, you know, that's what I say about these like really aggressive women who you know, you'll see these women in like a grocery store or a bank or something, and they'll kind of like, you know, what do you call it? Like stride up to people as if they're gonna like fight them. You know, they talk to them with such disrespect. You know, the only way a man would talk to another man with that disrespect is if you knew I could get into a fight here and I believe that I will win and I'm okay with it and I'm going to jump into this fight. But a woman knows she'll never get hit by a man. Well, unless, of course, she's talking to P. Diddy. But for the most part, a woman knows she's not going to get hit by a man. So she does not mind talking to men publicly with that attitude because she knows she's got the defense of, you know, this sort of social stigma of a man punching a woman. And to me, that is actually terrible, because now you've got this situation where a woman who can't really back up her attitude now talks with this like complete lack of disrespect. Obviously, this is not all women, but this is a huge epidemic in our country, I think.
But
you've invented
not only. Go ahead, Kurt.
Sorry, go ahead. I can think of it.
Well, not only that, like, so I was in the mall the other day, right? And I forgot to bring the carriage for my boy, which I had such a workout that day, man.
Just
so
carrying the kid.
I'm carrying my kid because the wife went with our friend, with my friend's wife, and they took a Women's Day there, and so I'm like carrying my son in the mall, and it pissed me off because people see a person with a child in their arms, and they're like walking near you, like gonna bang into you, you know, like no concern, like no wait, oh look, this guy has a kid, let me move out of the way a little, and you know, no, and that's what I'm saying, like people need to be punched in the face, you know, like I was getting angry. I was like, man, I'm gonna punch somebody in the face, and that's when I told my wife when I saw her that day, I was like, man, people just, they need to get punched in the face, man.
I think you might be right. I will say I do, you know, I ride a motorcycle out here, you know, because everybody's on like a scooter or something like that. No, I do not ride a scooter, Jason. It is a real motorcycle because I do have an inferiority complex. I have to get the motorcycle. But I'm riding around this motorcycle and I'll cut people off. You know, this is kind of how you ride out here. You know, you kind of cut people off. You know, you zoom ahead of people. You go around them, whatever it is. And, you know, you try to be respectful and safe and everything. But what's weird out here is you'll have whole families on a single scooter. So you like have husband, wife, the boy in the front. You'll have the little girl in the back. You'll have two kids on the sides being held up by the. I mean, it's crazy.
Dominicans call that moto concho. I think
it's just like
oh, really?
I'm picturing like a Dr. Seuss book where you've got like the scooter's this big.
No,
and everybody's like forms like a pyramid.
It kind of is like that. Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, no, they'll have like one. Can you widen my shot? Chris?
Hold on a second. Yeah, let's widen us all up.
Keep surfing.
They'll have like a person in the front, person in the back, one kid here, and like riding the bike like that.
I know.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I know. Well, but so sometimes it's just like one kid, and you won't notice them at first because they'll kind of like be in front, you know, and you can't see from the back. You can't see the kid. So I'll kind of be like driving like normal. But if I ever see a kid with a parent, then I become very, very safe driver. Suddenly I have no interest in cutting them off. I have no interest in like zooming around real quick. Like I completely changed my behavior if I see that there's a kid there. See, but I just assume that's human nature. Like, to me, it's kind of shocking that you had that experience where, you know, where people were just rude, you know, it's completely disrespectful like that.
It's crazy. Like it pisses me off because, man, yeah. And I get mad easily. So I really had to calm myself.
Well, this is a thing where, like, you know, if Biden, you know, steals this next election, we're heading to like Mad Max time. So what we need to do is we need to prepare for the inevitable, a potential reality, create these cottage industries. So, like, Jason, you see a need. What you need to do is, like, you need to
just go around punching people in the face.
You need to develop like a baby armor, like a sort of like a suit, like if it was for like a what are those things called? Like one of those rodents that has like the shell across the back. So he's got
an armadillo.
He's got like an armadillo kid case, and you just use him to like check people. Like it's a medicine ball.
Yeah.
Just be like,
I love it.
I like this.
Coming at you, just put the spine of the baby armadillo suit right in his fucking forehead.
And
sorry.
Whoa, Kurt.
You know what would be great too?
We were doing
my kid
5 minutes in. It's not my fault.
Kurt.
Yeah.
But that's what you need. That's how it feels. You got to get those words out because that's how it feels.
Exactly.
But you know what would be
So
funny?
like,
my kid would be cracking up inside that.
Boom. Yeah, he'd love
Kurt, my kid would be loving it, cracking up, laughing.
He could be juggling the teeth. He could be juggling the teeth. It'll be awesome.
You guys, I think we have just
we can sell it
developed a
on
new
Mr.
product.
Reagan.
Yeah, we got a new product, the toxic masculinity
the
baby
infant
shield.
Kilmadillo suit.
Kilmadillo. I love it. I love it. Off Power Concrete and Semperfi Crawfish Company jumps in again and he says, if this life were cotton, we'd all be picking it. F your reparations. Well, that's right. You know, so many people through time have suffered. It's not just black people. I don't know why that's the left is crazy. Benjamin Flensborg gives us some Danish krona, couple of bucks worth of Danish krona, and he just writes super sticker. Well, thank you very much, Benjamin Flensborg. We definitely appreciate that foreign currency. Demon Slayer gave us $5 and writes, Mr. Reagan, wait till you hear about black people eating corn stack. It's a thing. I don't know what corn stack is. Have you guys ever heard of corn stack?
Nope. No, I asked that earlier while you guys were talking, and
I guess I don't know.
Are we all
some
looking
redneck
it up right
thing?
if it was rice stack, I would assume it's some sort of like perverted like Japanese thing.
Corn starch. Corn
so.
starch. She says he or
oh,
she
corn
says
starch. It was a typo. Eating cornstarch. What? Okay, I will have to look that up. That's pretty wild.
Like
that
straight up eating cornstarch, like
is that how they get so thick?
That's quite funny.
Chris.
All right,
Chris. We need to get a black person on this show for one episode.
Oh, I've actually got the perfect black person to bring on the show.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've got the perfect. I actually already asked her, and then she responded. She said yes, and then I ignored her. But it wasn't because I was being disrespectful. It's because I got sick. I got really sick.
And a female.
Yeah, she's cool though. She's actually very cool. She's awesome. Actually, you're gonna love her. You guys are gonna love this chick. She's a huge. She's become a big star on Twitter. All the famous black leftists hate her. She's amazing. All right, Jason. We got a few stories left. Let's get through them real quick.
No. Where? Go ahead. Take it.
Are we done,
Chris? Yeah.
Do we get them all? Them all?
Yes, we did.
We planned everything perfectly.
We did because it's 9 o'clock right now. Well, I think that this has been a very successful show, and I think it's been successful because unlike previous incarnations of this show, the jokes were actually funny. So I don't know how that happened. But episode 16, I think this is the episode where we break through and we actually made the show good. Well, I felt like this is a good one.
Yes.
Next week I'll be off the drugs. So
16 is when you start dating them, right, Chris?
Well, Thursday.
No, they just look 16. How many times do I have to tell you, Kurt? Jeez.
My mistake. Sorry, our Chrissy.
Our Chrissy. Wow. I ain't pee on nobody. All right. More stereotypically black talk. Let's do that when the girl shows up for the show. Let's all try.
Yeah. We have to write a list down.
We all know that black people have the best reactions. I'll be happy to see what her face looks like when we start mouthing off about our kind of nonsense.
You know, that is actually kind of a real thing. Isn't that weird that black people have the best reaction? They're like so emotive. They're like very dramatic. Like if you show a black person,
if I'm going to whip anybody, no contest.
But like, okay, so like David Blaine, you guys remember David Blaine? When David Blaine first did his like street magic thing, the best bits that he would do would be with black people, because black people lose their minds. And this was Aziz Ansari. He did a comedy bit where he observed this, and I'm like, he's right. Black people lose their minds when they see magic tricks.
It's true, because I worked on a reality show with a magician a few years back. I was a camera guy, and it's so true. We got the best reactions from the black people.
It's like, okay,
and
take a card.
even the show was even fake, and they faked their reaction. So
really?
Yeah.
Like you'll be like,
I worked on a bunch of reality shows. They're all freaking fake.
Yeah, if a magician is like, here's
anybody, that's probably why you married her, right, Jason?
Say again.
I said, Jason,
nobody got that, Kurt.
You would know better than anybody. That's probably why you married your wife.
You're talking about faking it? Are you talking about faking it?
No, you just want to get a good reaction.
Oh,
this isn't landing, Kurt. I don't know what's going.
Right when I say all the jokes are Franklin, he needs to be saved.
Right when I say all the jokes are working,
trying to offend Jason.
Kurt jumps in with this one. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't understand.
You're a bad Latin guy. You're supposed to be all fiery and stuff. And you're
I'm American. I'm American.
At a photo
American.
Like just.
If you ever if you ever watch those Man on the Street, you know, that street magic stuff, the David Blaine stuff, well, do like a trick. It'd be like he'd be like, take a card, okay, watch it disappear, okay, is this your card? And the black people are like, it's a wizard.
That's like the most famous sort of like reaction meme ever, right? It's like the guys that like do the thing with the face and he moves forward and the other
that one actually was faked. That was a fake thing.
Oh, was it fake?
Yeah. If you watch the whole video, it was like a parody of, you know, like a rap, like a your mama joke kind of.
Oh, okay.
Thing.
I didn't realize.
It's a funny thing, but yeah, it's all completely fake. But the fact that we all think it's real, it is a strange thing. It is a strange thing that is a particular cultural phenomenon. What is
that's why I watch these YouTube videos with like the rap battles and stuff, like the rap battles with like the blind guy. Like I'm not watching it to hear the blind guy rap. I'm watching it to see like Chris Brown and everybody just like lose their minds. Yeah.
What is that? What is that with black culture and like reacting so emotively? What does that have to do with? Is that's just a random cultural thing?
I don't know. It's a good question.
It is a good question. All right, Stephen Thompson jumped in. Nice to see you, Stephen Thompson. Same name as my cousin. He writes, product name, the Bjorn Ultimatum.
I like that.
Stephen Thompson.
I like that. Good.
Drop the
Stephen
mic.
Thompson coming in with the name of the product. I love it.
He redeemed the show.
He did.
Wow.
And
then 6 months later, we have the upgraded one. We call it the Bjorn Supremacy, and then we just like
an extra
$100, and then we move. I'm like, yeah,
and it's perfect because the main character's name is Jason.
$5. Yeah, exactly. G.I. Jose jumps in $5. He says, if you eat corn, if you eat a corn on the cob, you demand. That shit hurts coming out. Just saying, my dog had a hell of a time passing it. I don't know why that was written in Ebonics, but I love it. G.I. Jose, good man, has sent me an email in the past. We've communicated privately. Gentleman, true gentleman. So thank you guys for all the super chats. I think we'll close the show now. I think the Bourne Ultimatum and the Bourne Supremacy were brilliant. Brilliant note.
Come on.
Sorry, my mistake.
Baby
the Bjorn Ultimatum, were brilliant notes to end the show on, unless you guys have anything else to say.
Nah, I think we're good. Jason.
Thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are go on.
Last episode, I got cut off the internet.
And
this is going to be more of a. I'm going to go into a little serious tone for a second because I just want to say, because I didn't get to finish about the whole Haitian flag thing, But what I wanted to say was, my father left Cuba to leave that tyrannical government, that communist government, to escape it, to come here to freedom, And when he came here to the United States, he joined the military. The first thing he did, and he was stationed at North Korea, the 38th parallel, I think it was. So he served there, and I was just gonna say, like, the thought of my dad ever putting like a Cuban flag on his car or in his front of his yard would have been the most embarrassing thing for him to ever do. Like, he would never have thought to ever have done something like that. Like, he came here, he made this his country, he accepted, he was American, and that's what I was saying about the whole flag thing. Like, if you come here from a terrible place, from a terrible country, you better make this country that has given you everything your own. Like, it, you better own it. You better be proud of it. Put our flag up, and I just want to make that clear because I didn't get to say, because I got caught off.
I love it. I salute I'm not military, but I salute your father and his, not just his service to America, but also his perspective. Yeah. I absolutely love that patriotism. It's absolutely beautiful. On another very serious note, Hoff Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company wants to end the show by saying, "Great show, effers." So it's another great way to end the show. And Gorka just texted me. He said, "I guess everybody got new batteries for their phones." Because nobody has fallen out in this episode, which is always happens. I love it.
You know what was funny? Like, because we called the internet company, and they were that night they happened to freaking be redoing the whole internet system. And I'm like, oh
wow, okay, so that you had a bit, yeah, it happens. And Kurt, just for whatever reason, his phone lasted the whole time, which is fantastic. We all appreciate it, Kurt. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, and we appreciate your comments. You guys are the best fans on the internet. I think primarily because YouTube does not allow my show to be seen by leftists. Yes. So
you
it's
all have
only
impeccable taste.
People. Impeccable taste, especially Franklin, whoever that is. The sole fan of Kurt Franklin.
Don't be smirched by lone fan. I will defend him to an inch of my life.
And on that bombshell, remember, it's not that our liberal friends are ignorant. It's just they know so much that is not. So remember to watch my shows that I'm posting, because I'm getting these really low numbers now, and I don't know why. So remember to watch the regular shows that I post. It's good stuff, and share them with your friends. I don't know why they're so low numbers. But anyway, we will see you next time. Good night. End stream.